me quickly ask, Mr. Agase, when the presidential spokesman talked about ethnic cleansing, he seems to be suggesting that what you are asking, what you expected of the president, was to ask Fulani people to leave Benue. Was that what you were asking?
No. I was referring to the fact that the president failed to address the situation on ground. And the situation is that a group of people 6 months ago made threats that they were invading Benue State, and 6 months later they are carrying out this threat. So we expect him as the chief security officer, as the commander-in-chief of the army, as the man on whose table the buck stops, to make a declaration, to make a statement on this. As talking about Fulani people leaving Benue State, there is no record that Fulani people have been asked to leave Benue State. We have a law that seeks to address the problem between farmers and herders. And that law says you must ranch so that you prevent cattle from straying into crop farms and causing trouble, because this has caused us a lot of trouble.
Mr. Agerzua, in fairness to President Buhari, I want to just get your response to this. He was pretty clear in publicly declaring that any Fulani man anywhere in the country, including Benue, that is found with a rifle, found with any kind of a weapon, should be apprehended, should be prosecuted. In view of that kind of public declaration, are you still suggesting that he has not in any way opposed what has happened in Benue State?
I am talking about the town hall meeting where I was present and where he spoke. I was specific that the people of Benue were expecting that these were stakeholders, were expecting that he will make a pronouncement on that to give them hope. I was very specific.
Mr. Shehu, I want to go to the president's visit to Dapchi just yesterday. Obviously, he laid out kind of a litany of things that he believed that his administration was doing to address the challenge. But some people are saying, look, it's just not enough, Mr. President, that your visit is not just late, but that it's insufficient in many ways. What is your response to those who say that, look, more should be done?
Well, let me first of all, please, if you don't mind, go back to my colleague here. And to say that, and I mean no disrespect, I don't know whether he's coming from the moon, to the studio here. If he sat in that room where the president had a meeting, the I don't want to say tribal, the head of the Tiv community, ethnic population, the Tortiv, and the governor said to the president, thank you that you are our father, and we are happy with the way you are doing these things. So I don't know why the spokesman of the government detaches himself from what the leaders of his own state are doing. I don't know whether he's on his own mission. That's for him to explain. Coming to Dapchi, the thing is, the president, in fact, I read an editorial on Sunday in a newspaper suggesting 3 things to the president, saying, look, president, if incidents like this happen, you go there. If you can't go, send vice president. If you cannot go, send a high-powered government delegation. The governor of Yobe has confirmed that 4 high government delegations had been sent to Dapchi and to see things and to report back to the president. My sense is that president didn't do a favor to himself or to Yobe or to Nigerians by going to Dapchi yesterday. But it is equally important that this is a war theater, more or less. And for President and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria to have, I think that he had shown marked statesmanship and courage by going into the
of the measures that he laid out yesterday, he talked about the strengthening of the joint operational kind of task force and a base of communication for all the security agencies to join and meet and talk about the issues that are going on in the region. He talked about aerial surveillance. He talked about a sweeping kind of search in in the northeast theater of operation, the force, etc. But it still comes down to when we talk about prevention, and you know that these girls were taken out of the school.
That's correct.
There was no mention whatsoever in the president's speech yesterday of any kind of preventative measure of what he is doing, what this administration is doing to ensure that schools in the region are protected. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, let me first of all say that I was in Dapchi for the first time myself, and I saw the school environment from which these girls were taken. And I must say that at that level, I think that the local authorities had put infrastructure on the ground that should reasonably protect those girls. It is a walled environment, high walls, and only one entrance. But the captors, the people who came to take the girls, of course, came better prepared, perhaps with the knowledge of environment, and they stopped the place, and it is sad that they took away. When a president in an environment, in a situation like that, says and makes a commitment to the effect, this will never happen again, and all of the girls, whether Dapchi or Chibok, will bring them home. Everyone should take their cue from there. So, are we expecting the president to outline every detail on what to do? The police, this country has a huge infrastructure when it comes to security, secret service, the police, the army. They should take their cue and they follow up.
No, but
so the thing is that the president must not be failed. That's the important thing.
But when we talk about, I mean, these statements are still very vague. I mean, of course, I don't think any discerning Nigerian would expect the president to come out and lay out very sensitive kind of strategies before the public. But certainly some level of understanding in terms of saying, look, this is a priority for us, that we want to prevent schools from being, intruded and girls being taken away again. I don't think, all he said was we've sent the Minister of Interior to make his assessments. We haven't heard anything about anything proposed to prevent this kind of thing from happening again.
Well, if I will make a disclosure to you here, I will say to you that, you know that Prime Minister Brown leads a UN program on Save the Schools environment, supported by wealthy Nigerians and all of that. And you know that the UN launched that process soon after Chibok. I'm aware that the government of Nigeria has re-engaged Prime Minister Brown, and everything is being made to bring back interest. Because let me say that it's not just here in Nigeria, even from the UN, it cannot be said that all of the objectives set out for the Safe Schools program, had been achieved. So we are back on it again.